Today's training is going to be about building a strong frame, building a solid frame. We're going to dive into 4 pillars that you can proactively take action on if you want to improve your frame, if you want to build up a more solid frame. Because let's get real. Is it okay if we get real for a second? If you don't have a strong or a solid frame, you're not just unattractive to women, but also to men. You're also forgettable. Men don't want to hang around a pushover unless they are pushovers themselves. And women don't want a pushover in their life, a doormat or a guy who folds at the first sign of emotional pressure. Which, again, is why I keep pounding on you guys. Do not develop your emotional vulnerability, but build up your emotional stability. Yeah, because everybody, even men, want to hang out with a man who knows who he is, who stands his ground, and who leads with confidence. And so does the girl of your dreams, the woman that you want to be, the mother of your kids. Yeah, so if you are tired of being the nice guy, the guy who gets friend zoned, the guy who gets walked all over, then it's time to build a frame that is solid, a frame that is strong, and that sends out the right attractive signals. Yeah, so today in this training, you're going to learn what a strong frame actually is. And I'm going to tell you already, it's not about being stubborn or about being controlling. Yeah, and I'm going to teach you exactly why it is so crucial, especially for attraction and especially for trust and comfort and connection, and how to develop it through boundaries, through assertiveness, through confident leadership. Yeah, we're going to break down the evolutionary psychology behind why women crave this in a partner. And I'm going to give you some practical step-by-step strategies to put all of this into action. Yeah, so expect some directness, expect a little sarcasm, yeah, and zero tolerance for self-pity. Yeah, well, let's build up your frame. My name is Rink. I'm from the Netherlands. Yeah, that's the Dutch accent that you hear. And since 2004, I've been walking the path of self-development myself because I got kicked in the balls by a very rough breakup in 2009. And that whole period before that, yeah, because I started self-development in 2004, I already noticed that the path that I was walking, it didn't bring me what I was looking for. I felt empty. I felt like a pushover, especially in the relationship that I had back then. It was not a good, positive, solid, blooming relationship. And when I look back, my frame was weak. Yeah, I was weak. And so I started working on myself. I wanted to learn more about psychology, about why I was the nice guy that I was. And I've improved. I've improved ever since. And since 2009, I've been teaching what I learned to other men. And since then, I've watched countless men sabotage themselves by being too nice, too accommodating, or too afraid to assert their needs, like I was back then. What you have to understand is that the men who win, the men who attract, the men who keep and actually inspire quality women are the ones who have a strong frame. They don't get rattled. They don't chase approval. They don't compromise their values for a shot at affection, yeah, and if you want to be that man, a man that lives according to his own rules and is therefore more charismatic, interesting, attractive, I'm going to give you the blueprint on how to accomplish that. But first, I want to talk to you about two guys, Tim and Alex. Tim was the classic yes man. He was always agreeing. He was never pushing back. And he was constantly worried about upsetting women. And he got walked on. He got trampled all over. He got ignored and he got dumped in a ferocious way. Alex, on the other hand, the guy with a strong frame. And he knew what he wanted. He set clear boundaries because he knew what he wanted. He also knew what he didn't want. And he wasn't afraid to say no. And men respected him, but women also respected him. And women felt safe around him. And women actually wanted to build something real with him. Now, what was the difference? What was the difference between Tim and Alex? Frame. Frame. That was the difference. Tim had a weak frame. Alex had a solid frame. Now, if you're tired of being Tim, it's time to become as Alex. And I'm going to give you 4 pillars on how you can accomplish that. Pillar number 1. Understanding frame. You have to see it like this, especially in the dance with women. Your frame is the invisible backbone of attraction. Yeah, your frame is your internal sense of reality. It's your values, it's your self-worth. It's the mental and the emotional backbone. It's that what keeps you steady. It's what keeps you grounded, no matter what's happening around you. When you have a strong frame, you don't get thrown off by women's shit tests, by drama, or by outside opinions. Yeah, you know who you are. You know what you want. You know what you stand for. You know what you've been through. You know exactly why, what, and how. And that keeps you solid. It keeps you grounded. And that's rare. Yeah, because especially today, I'm very sorry. Sorry, but not sorry to say that a lot of men have weak frames because men are lost. You can't be lost and having a strong frame. You have to find out who you are. Yeah, and when you know who you are, that's incredibly attractive. Because you have to see it like this. From an evolutionary psychology perspective, women are wired to seek out men who can provide stability, who can provide security. Yeah, because in the cave days, prehistoric times, a man who could maintain his composure under stress was more likely to be able to protect his tribe and his offspring. Yeah, so now fast forward to today, still the same principles apply. Women still instinctively look for men who can handle pressure, who can set boundaries, who can lead with confidence. Yeah, a strong frame signals that you are not easily swayed, that you are not easily manipulated, that you are not easily broken. And that is a huge green flag for any woman who has a little bit of self-respect. That is a huge green flag for the woman that you actually want to have in your life. The woman that you can actually see as the mother of your kids. Yeah, a weak frame, on the other hand, is like a house of cards. Yeah, if you're constantly seeking approval, constantly changing your opinions just so that you can fit in, or you let others dictate your emotional mood, you're literally broadcasting insecurity. You're sending out signals that communicate, I am an insecure man. Now, women pick up on this instantly, and it makes them feel unsafe. It makes them feel uncertain. And let's be honest, it makes them feel bored. Which is why so many guys are being swiped away out of the life of women. Yeah, of the women that they meet for a date. Because no woman wants to build a life with a man who can't even hold his own in a conversation, let alone in a crisis. Now, the beauty of Frame is that it's not about being rigid or inflexible. Yeah, but it's about being grounded. You can actually be open-minded, empathic, and adaptable without losing your center. Yeah, and I would actually say that from my personal experience, when I see which type of men actually end up in solid relationships with gorgeous women, with women that you actually want to have in your life, it's the adaptable men. It's the men that have empathy, the men that are open-minded, the men that are willing to move with the flow. It's not the rigid or inflexible guys that think that they need to keep their frame solid and rigid and not be adaptable. I've seen those guys countless times lose the girl. So, you can be open-minded, you can be empathic, you can be adaptable without losing your frame, without losing yourself, without losing your center. And when you master this, you actually become the man that women want to follow. Not the one that they have to drag along. Yeah? Now, I'm going to give you an actionable step. Something that you can write down right now and that you can ponder on. You can think about this, like reflect on this. And what is this? Define your non-negotiables. Take some time to write down your core values, your deal breakers, and your must-haves in relationships. Like, what are you absolutely unwilling to compromise on? What kind of behavior will you never tolerate? And this is not about you being picky. It's about knowing yourself. It's about knowing who you are, and it's about knowing what it is that you want in life and what you don't want in your life. And when you are clear on your non-negotiables, you will stop bending over for approval. Yeah, and start attracting women who actually respect you, because you finally respect yourself. Yeah, so why does this work? Because clarity, when you are clear on your non-negotiables, when you are clear on what it is that you want, clarity breeds confidence. When you know what you stand for, you won't get rattled by shit tests, by drama. Yeah, you can calmly assert your needs. You can walk away from bad situations, even if it's a woman. You can hold your ground when challenged. And women sense this, and it makes them feel both attracted and safe. Because now you're not just another guy hoping to be chosen. You are the man who chooses. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of girls seem to like assholes. It's because those assholes are sure of themselves. They have non-negotiables. They are not afraid to tell her, no, that's not going to happen. It's not because women are dumb. It's not because women are stupid. It's because they're really smart. Yeah, their brain, their programming tells them, this guy that says yes all the time, he has a weak frame. He's not the right guy to place your bets on. But that guy, he has a strong frame. He knows where he's going. He will not take shit from anyone. He's a safe bet. You can feel safe with him. That's what it's about. Safety. Yeah? Pillar number 2, maintaining your personal boundaries. Yeah, let's talk about self-respect. Again, something that a lot of guys don't have these days. Boundaries are the lines that you draw to protect your time, to protect your energy, and to protect your self-respect. Without boundaries, you are a doormat. You are easy to use. You are easy to lose. With boundaries, you are like a bunker, yeah? A fortress. You are strong. You are to be respected. And you are impossible to manipulate. And this is one of the reasons why women test men. Women test men to see if you have boundaries, if you are emotionally strong or emotionally weak. Yeah, we call them shit tests or tests of manhood. You can also call them, you can see them as an emotional test. She's testing your emotional resilience. Yeah, because women test boundaries, not because women are evil. It's because they want to know if you are the real deal. Because if you fold, if you bend over at the first sign of pressure, you fail the test and attraction dies. There cannot be attraction when you fail tests, when you fail these emotional tests. Because the moment you fail these emotional tests, you basically signal, you communicate, I'm weak, I have a weak frame, my emotional frame is weak. And evolutionary psychology explains this perfectly. Because in ancestral environments, a man who could not enforce boundaries was a liability. Yeah, he would get exploited. He would lose his resources. He would fail to protect his family. So women evolved to test men's boundaries as a way of screening for emotional strength, for emotional reliability. And if you can't say no to her, how will you say no to threats, or how will you say no to challenges? See it like this. It's not personal. She's not being a bitch to you specifically. It's primal. So setting boundaries is not about you being an asshole. It's not about you being harsh or unkind. It's about having self-respect. But by setting boundaries, you teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. And if you let women, or anyone else for that matter, walk all over you, you're literally telling them that you don't value yourself. And that's not humility. It's self-sabotage. It's weakness. It's emotional weakness. Higher status men who are charismatic, attractive, higher value, they set boundaries, and they do it calmly, they do it clearly, they do it consistently. They don't have to make a big scene. They just don't budge. It's like you being a big rock, laying on the beach, like a big, I don't know, like a big rock, a big boulder. That's the word. And the waves come crashing, but the boulder doesn't move. And that's life. Life will crash its waves upon you continuously. And she wants to know, are you like a little rock that gets kicked all over the beach, or are you that big boulder that that has a strong frame? You know what the irony is here? When you enforce boundaries, women actually feel safer and feel more attracted, because they now know that you won't tolerate disrespect, and that makes them respect you more. Yeah, and it allows them to relax, because they know that you will handle things when needed. Yeah, and that's the kind of man that women want to build a life with, a family with, have children with. Want to do the jiggy with. I'm going to give you another actionable step. That will help you to enforce your boundaries. Practice saying no. Start small. The next time someone asks you to do something that you do not want to do, whether it's a friend, whether it's a coworker, whether it's a woman, whether it's a date, whether it's a lady, say no. Without over-explaining, without apologizing, just simple. No, that doesn't work for me. And that's enough. You don't have to explain yourself. And just notice how, in the beginning, how uneasy it feels. And it's okay to feel, it's okay to feel uneasy when doing so. You will be uncomfortable at first. But that's just your old people-pleasing habits dying a very slow but very necessary death. Yeah, but practice saying no. And why is this so powerful? See it like this. Every time you say no to something that doesn't serve you, you're saying yes to your own self-respect. You're basically training yourself and others to value your time and your energy. And over time, this will become your second nature. Yeah, women will notice, and so will everyone else. And you will be amazed at how much more respect and attraction you will get when you stop being a little bitch, when you stop being a pushover, when you stop being emotionally vulnerable with a weak frame. Your life will change. Yeah, so start small. Start by saying no. Because by saying no to them, you're saying yes to you. Pillar number 3. This is something that I had a big challenge with back in the day, and that I know that a lot of guys have a challenge with. Pillar number 3 is asserting your needs. Yeah, you're going to have to build up the confidence to ask and go for what it is that you want. Assertiveness is the ability to express your needs, to express your masculine desires, and to express your opinions openly and honestly, without fear of rejection, without fear of conflict. It's not about being aggressive. It's not about being demanding. It's about you being clear and being direct. If you cannot assert your needs, you will end up resentful. You will end up frustrated. And let's be honest, you're boring. You will end up being boring to her. Women want a man who knows what he wants and isn't afraid to ask for it. And you want to be that guy, whether it's about women or not. Life gets so much better when you assert your needs. Instead of trying to push them away and, nah, it's okay, I have no needs. Fuck that. You have needs. And from now on, you're going to work on asserting them. Yeah, because from an evolutionary standpoint, assertiveness communicates strength, communicates leadership. Again, in the wild, back then, all those generations back, thousands of generations back, a man who could not assert his needs would get trampled on by the competition. And he would be ignored by potential mates. Women evolved to be attracted to men who can confidently state their intentions and pursue whatever it is that they want. It's a sign that you are very willing and very able to provide, to protect, and to lead. Not just survive, not just live, and be a liability of the tribe. She doesn't want a liability. She wants a man that goes for what he wants, that knows what he wants and is not afraid to assert his needs, his wants, his desires. But the problem right now is, especially today, and I keep seeing it with younger guys, is that most men are terrified of kicking some shins, of kicking some emotional balls, of rocking the boat. They would rather go along to get along, hoping that being nice will win them points. Well, spoiler alert, it doesn't. Nobody likes a yes man. Weak men who have no better choice allow other yes men to be around them because they have no better choice. The guys that you actually want to have in your social circle do not want a yes man around them. Women, attractive women, the kind of woman that you actually want to have in your life, a quality lady, does not want a yes man. She wants a partner who can challenge them, inspire them, stand up for himself. And if you're always putting her needs above your own, others people's needs above your own, you're not being generous. You simply have no spine. You have no backbone. Which is why I'm teaching this training, so that you understand that you having a spine, having a backbone, does a lot for you. Assertiveness is not about getting your way all the time. It's about being honest. It's about you expressing your needs. It's about you giving her, or anyone else for that matter, giving them a chance to meet your needs. Or not, which is also fine. You don't need them. You don't need them, because either way, you know what it is that you want. You have personal boundaries. You understand frame. You're not afraid to assert your needs. You're being authentic. You're being real. And that's the foundation of real, deep, long-lasting connection. Because now the woman is finally able to know who you are, what you stand for, and now she can actually be attracted to who you are as a person. If you do not assert your needs, you're literally being fake. And you're communicating a lot of weak signals. It's unattractive. So from now on, and this is what you're going to practice. This is the actionable step that comes with pillar number 3, asserting your needs, is you're going to state your preferences in a very clear way. Next time that you're making plans with a woman, or with anyone for that matter, state your preference directly. So for an example, and look, this is not something big, but it's something that you need to do, you have to do. Instead of asking her, what restaurant would you like to go? Well, it's okay. You can make the decision. No, shut up. I want to try that new Italian place tonight. Yeah, instead of, I don't know what to do. What do you want to do? I want to do this. I want to go there. Let's go over there. Let's do this. I choose that. Speak it and make it happen. Instead of, I don't know. Like you can't not know. You have to know. Again, which is why, you want to know your boundaries, and you want to know what you stand for, so that you can express it. So that she can get to know the real you. Practice expressing your wants without apology, without hesitation. So not like this. Well, if it's okay with you, we can go to that new Italian place. That Italian place. That's how men or people in general communicate when they are unsure. They end on a high note. No, you're not going to do that. We are going to that place. You're going to go down. And now you're speaking with certainty. And you know what she will say? All right, cool. Women love when you do that. Don't be afraid to assert your needs. Do not be afraid to speak what you want. Why does this matter, though? Why does this matter so much? Why am I hammering on this so much? Because when you do this, you communicate, you literally signal to the universe that you have a spine, that you have a backbone, that you actually have a solid frame that you're standing on. It shows that you have a spine. Women are drawn to men who can lead, who can make decisions and express themselves clearly, unapologetically. And look, man, you will start to notice that this makes interactions, social interactions, smoother and way more enjoyable. Because no one likes endless back and forth or indecisions. And the more you practice, the more natural it will become. And soon you will be the guy who knows what he wants and is not afraid to go after it and make it happen. Which is my wish for you. Pillar number 4. Write this down. Leading interactions with confidence. Leading interactions with confidence. Leadership, especially in dating, is not about barking orders or about being a control freak. I've been around big pickup artist names. I'm not going to name them, but some of them were quite domineering. And in the beginning, with a certain type of woman, you can get away with it. And I saw it happen. They got away with it. And it helped to create attraction. A little bit that first bit of attraction. But for some reason, they could never keep a girlfriend. They could never keep a woman in their life. Why not? Because they were continuously barking orders, being a control freak. They always wanted to have the last word. They always wanted to have their say. That's not leading with confidence. That's you being a Nazi camp uh, camp dude. I don't know what the English word is. Camp commander. Again, leadership, especially in dating, especially in relationships, is not about being a control freak. It's about guiding the interaction. It's about making decisions and creating a sense of direction and coaching her, your lady, possibly the mother of your kids, in a way that feels comfortable for her. Yeah, your woman, the mother of your daughter, the mother of your son, or your kids, she wants to feel like she's with a man who can handle himself and who can handle her and who can handle the family. Yeah, so if you're always deferring, if you're always hesitating, if you're always waiting for her to take the lead, you're not being polite. You're not being, a male feminist. You're being passive and you're being unattractive. We know from evolutionary psychology that women are attracted to competence and confidence. In ancestral times, a man who could lead his tribe, who could make decisions, and who could handle challenges was way more likely to survive and thrive. And that instinct is still alive today. Women want a man who can take charge. And not because they're helpless. Not because they're, I can't make decisions. No, it makes them feel safe. It makes them feel desired. Even the ones that say that they don't need a man, she still needs a man to make her feel safe and desired. Leading with confidence does not mean that you ignore things that she says, that you ignore her input, that you are being a dictator. It means that you take initiative. It means that you make plans. It makes that you know where you're going. It means that you steer or guide the interaction toward fun, toward connection, toward intimacy. It's about you being proactive instead of reactive. Yeah, and when you lead, you create momentum. Yeah, you make things happen instead of waiting for them to happen to you, which is what a lot of guys do, unfortunately. Yeah, and especially in my Dutch videos on TikTok, on YouTube, I can be quite direct with the guys. But this is why, because I see it happen. I've been working with men since before 2009. I see a lot of passive guys, and they're really good guys. They have good hearts, they have good souls, but they are unattractive. And it's unnecessary. You don't have to be that guy. You can make things happen. You can lead. You can create momentum as well. And as a result, women will be able to relax around you. They will feel more comfortable. They will feel more cared for. They will feel free to finally be feminine instead of masculine. Then they don't have to worry about carrying the conversation, making all the decisions, managing the vibe, because you got everything handled. And that is incredibly attractive. Yeah, so from now on, and this is a very difficult step for most men to take, but it's a very important one. The next time you are on a date with a woman, you are going to take the lead. So what does that mean? The next time that you are out with a woman, you are going to take charge of the plans. Yeah, you're going to suggest the place. You're going to make the reservations. You are going to guide the evening. If something goes wrong, let's say the restaurant is closed or the movie is sold out, you're going to handle it. You're going to handle it with humor. You're going to handle it with flexibility. Yeah, you're not going to panic because you are emotionally stable. You're standing on a solid frame. You have your emotions under control. You have the situation under control. You pivot and you keep things moving. And this is highly effective because it demonstrates competence, confidence. It demonstrates that you are calm under pressure. And women notice when a man can handle the unexpected without losing his cool. Yeah, it makes them feel safe. It makes them feel valued. It makes them excited to be with you. And the more that you practice, the more natural it becomes. And soon, if you keep on practicing it, you will become the guy. You will not act like that guy. You will be the guy. The guy that women trust to lead and actually want to follow. So there you go. That's 4 pillars that you can work on to building a strong frame. Yeah? Building a strong frame, again, it is the foundation of charisma, of you being an interesting man, of you being attractive, of you being able to build comfort, of you being able to deepen a real connection. Yeah, because it's about knowing who you are. It's about setting boundaries. It's about asserting your needs. It's about leading with confidence. And again, we know from evolutionary psychology that women are wired, hardwired, programmed by nature to seek out men who can provide stability, security, and direction. And when you master these skills, you will become the man that women want. Not just for a night, but for a lifetime. And especially now in these days, because there's so few men that have strong frames. And look, it's from now on, it's up to you, right? I can only throw the tools at you, but you have to implement them. And every day that you operate without a strong frame, every day that you are operating with a weak frame, you are missing out on the kind of women that and the kind of relationships that you actually want. Yeah, the men who build and maintain their frame are the ones who get chosen, are the ones who get respected, are the ones who get remembered. When I get a lot of shit in my inbox, I get a lot of shit underneath my videos, and not the English ones, but the Dutch ones. For the ones that watch this on TikTok, you should see my Dutch channel and just go through go through the comments. Yeah, because I know you can translate the comments. There's a lot of guys there, and they're pissed off because I'm the one poking my fingers in their emotions, in their emotional wounds, and I'm basically you, if you're that guy that sends your shit my way, I mean, that's basically why you fail with women, because you have a weak frame, because you don't have a solid frame. Yeah, that's why you get emotional when I tell you the truth, when I say things that you don't like to hear. And that's why you're the guy that gets ghosted, that gets friend-zoned, that gets swiped away out of the lives of women. And I'm not saying these things to hurt you. I'm saying this to challenge you and to support you. As I did with Tim and Alex. Remember Tim and Alex? Tim's weak frame got him ignored and got him dumped. Alex's strong frame made women feel safe, attracted, and eager to be around him and connect with him. The difference wasn't luck. Yeah, it was a choice. Be like Alex, do not be like Tim. Now, I'm going to challenge you. Pick one of these pillars. Just pick one of these and start today. Define your non-negotiables. Practice saying no. Assert your preferences or take the lead. And then track your progress. Write shit down. Own your growth. And watch as your dating life and your life transforms. Yeah? No more excuses, just results. And I want to end it with this. A strong frame is not about being rigid. It's not about you being an asshole. It's not about you being controlling, domineering, you being a dictator. I've been around guys like that. They have no real friends and no women want to be with them. Why? Because it's very unattractive to be around a domineering, controlling, rigid dictator. Having a strong frame is about being grounded. It's about being confident who you are as a man, confident about, your wants, your needs, your desires. It's about you being true to yourself. When you build and maintain your frame, you become a man that other men want to be with or be around. I want to be with. Not like that. And that women want to be with. Yeah, want to follow, want to trust, want to connect with. Want to feel attracted to. Want to be seduced by. You will become the man that they want to seduce. So stop bending over. Yeah? Keep your pants on. Start leading. And remember, a valued man doesn't chase approval. He sets the standard. Yeah, so get out there, show the world what a real man looks like. Yeah, improve yourself, learn, make mistakes. It's all about learning and growing and implementing and reflecting and plowing onwards. And brother, if you took any value out of this training, please like, subscribe, write me a comment. This is what I've learned. This is what I'm going to work on. You have such a nice shiny head. Anything. Yeah, let's connect. We have a community for men as well. If you want access to it, you can get access. It's free. We're building it internationally. We have weekly live calls, trainings, a magic mindset call every week. Yeah, building mindset with a group of guys from different walks of life, from different countries. You can network with other people. If you want to be part of that, send me a message, a DM, a private message with the word community. I will get you the link. And yeah, that's it, man. That's all I have to bring to you tonight. It was a good training. And I will see you next time, brother, with a lot of love from the Netherlands. See you next.